In the game of Rocket League, mistakes are pretty easy to come by. I mean, it's a hard game. A lot of us get caught up in the amount of hours, knowledge, and mechanics required to get better, and we miss the most basic mistakes that we don't realize we're making game after game. Fortunately for you, I am a Rocket League mistake connoisseur, and since I have so much experience making mistakes in this game, I'm going to show you guys the 10 biggest mistakes you're making when you play Rocket League. Now let's get into it. Mistake number 1 is not hitting the ball with the corners of your car. Look, this is a little industry secret that professional players do all the time, but not many players realize it. The reason they are able to get so much power and accuracy every time they hit the ball is because they are hitting it with the most powerful part of their car, the corners. Most players, when they go up for a shot, tend to hit the ball with the nose of their car. This can generate lots of power, but you're still missing out on so much power that can be generated just by hitting it a little bit differently. You want to get into the habit of using air roll to tilt your car to be able to flip directly into the ball with the corner of your car. This will allow your shots to be much more powerful, and with time, you will see a massive improvement in your accuracy as well. Admittedly, this takes a lot of time to master, but getting into the habit as early as possible will put you much farther ahead than other players in your rank. Mistake number 2 is power sliding incorrectly. Power sliding is one of the most unseen but biggest aspects of your gameplay that you can improve. Lots of lower ranked players tend to power slide less often than they should, and when they do power slide, they end up power sliding for longer than they should. When watching higher level gameplay, it can be hard to notice how many times they're actually using power slide. But luckily, stats from ballchasing.com show us exactly what they're doing. Grand Champs power slide twice as often as a plat player, but when they do power slide, they power slide for almost half as much time. This means you need to be using power slide more often, but for less time. It's not Tokyo Drift. When you're turning, you should not be holding down power slide. You're just gonna end up losing all your momentum and having a terrible recovery. When turning, you should be tapping power slide repeatedly to get a sharper turn while keeping your momentum. You also need to remember to use power slide more often in your recoveries. You should almost always be power sliding when you land on the ground awkwardly. You can also incorporate recovery mechanics while using power slide to speed up your gameplay even further. Now, mistake number 3 is hesitation. Hesitation is your worst enemy in Rocket League. Rocket League is a game where you have to be decisive. Every millisecond counts, so if you aren't making decisions, you will end up finding yourself behind. The biggest indicators of hesitation are 2 little moves I like to call the wiggle and the boost break. When a player is indecisive, they will either approach the ball with a wiggle because they are unsure whether to commit or turn around, or they will boost towards the play, then break and turn around, losing all their momentum and wasting boost. These hesitations are a big mistake because you end up getting caught out in no man's land with the outcome most likely being you getting scored on. A lot of the time, it's actually more beneficial to fully commit to a risky play rather than hesitate and not commit to anything. This is because fully committing gives you a chance to challenge the play, which is much better than having no chance at all when you hesitate. Mistake number 4 is watching pros and expecting to improve. Rocket League pros are playing on a completely different level than 99% of the player base. One huge mistake I see so many players make is that they try to base their decision making off of what pros do in RLCS. This is a terrible idea because there are so many different factors that go into why a pro makes a certain decision which are not present in lower ranked matches. For example, pros tend to play with the mentality that their teammates will almost never miss the ball because they play at such a high skill level. If a plat player were to adopt this same mentality, they would be severely disappointed in how that works out for them. You should instead focus on developing decision-making habits based on your own rank and their ability to play. This will allow you to score many more goals off your opponent's mistakes and better help you understand your own mistakes in-game. Mistake number 5 is overfilling your boost. I bet you're wondering, Calvin, what the hell are you talking about? You can't overfill your boost? Well, this is a concept I had only recently become aware of, but when I learned what it was, I realized I had been doing this mistake for all of my Rocket League career. Basically, overfilling your boost is the concept that you are taking more boost than you actually need to stay in the play. For example, for a lot of players, this is seen as going for 100 boost pad out of the way of the play when you already have 60 boost in your tank. The reason this is so bad is because you are now leaving the play just to get 40 boosts that you don't need, and messing up your teammates' rotations. In most situations, going out of your way to get that 100 boost pad is just not necessary. There are almost always 4 to 5 small boost pads around you that you can get all the boosts you need to stay in the play. To fix this mistake, it's super important to learn boost pad positioning and paths to take down the field. I covered this more in my how to rank out of diamond guide, but essentially these 3 main paths will stop you from overfilling boost and leaving play, allowing you to put more pressure on your opponents and further improvement. Mistake number 6 is how come you've watched this whole video so far without liking and subscribing? Nah, I'm just kidding, but seriously, you should definitely do that. Mistake number 6 is having trash rotations. One of the biggest mistakes that I see so many players make is that they don't understand the most basic rotations in Rocket League. So many players tend to overcomplicate their gameplay and end up committing for balls they just should not go for, or being way too patient to the point their teammate is 1v2ing. Look, all you really need to remember and focus on are a couple main rotations. For 2v2s, player 1 pressures the ball. When the ball goes past player 1, player 2 pressures the ball. Then player 1 rotates back and you rinse and repeat. In 3s, it's the same concept except now there's a middle player, adding one more line of defense. That means you have to be constantly aware of where your teammates are on the field and position yourself accordingly. Oh yeah, and please stop rotating ball side. This means stop rotating on the same side of the field as the ball when going back on defense. Rotating ball side means you will end up running into your teammate more often than not, so stop doing that. Simply focusing on your positioning throughout the game and making sure you are pressuring the ball at the right times will make you infinitely better than 90% of the players in your rank. Mistake number 7 is feeding into toxicity. Rocket League players can be a little toxic sometimes, and it's super tempting to give into the toxicity and absolutely flame your teammate. Stop! Stop doing this, okay? Responding or even letting yourself get affected by what some random kid online types out to you is only gonna cause a toxicity tornado, where you find yourself logging in the next day 3 entire ranks below what you were yesterday. Each game is a completely new slate, so don't let yourself get caught up in the heat of the moment. That guy being toxic is probably having a much worse day than you are. A good way to prevent yourself from getting tilted in the first place is to turn off chat in settings. Trust me, it completely changes the way you play the game. You'll become so much more focused on the actual game instead of some toxic kids crying about car soccer. Mistake number 8 is not focusing on the basics. Rocket League at its core is a fairly basic game. I mean, it's just soccer with cars. However, a lot of players tend to forget this basic information and try to overcomplicate the game as much as possible and focus on training the wrong things. Look, if you do not have basic mechanics down, such as shooting, fast aerials, half flips, wave dashes, speed flips, etc., then why are you trying to train air dribbles for 8 hours a day? I'm gonna tell you right now, getting mastery over basic mechanics first, then learning more advanced mechanics later will save you much more time than trying to learn flip resets without first learning how to aerial. You will find that your overall car control skill and game knowledge will drastically improve, as all the foundational aspects of your gameplay are being trained and built upon. This will allow you to have a much easier time picking up advanced mechanics in the future, as you will have all the skills you need already trained and ready to be applied. Mistake number 9 is worrying about your rank too much. This mistake applies to almost the entire Rocket League community, and it drags everybody down in the process. When you care too much about the rank you're in, you lose focus on what will actually help you rank up. You start to take shortcuts in your training and become toxic towards your teammates, or even become scared of playing ranked out of fear of deranking. This mindset causes so many players to improve much slower than they should. Trust me, I know how frustrating it can be to lose ranked games, but you simply have to realize that losing one ranked game makes absolutely no difference in your overall skill level, and it's just another game where you can learn and improve. Your rank is meaningless until you put meaning on it. I'm telling you, try treating ranked games almost like casual games and focus on how you can improve. You will see so much improvement in your gameplay, and your mental health will thank you. And mistake number 10 is... I'm guessing you might have known this was coming.
Stop blaming your fucking teammates.
Hey, look, I know what you're thinking. Bro, every creator always tells me this, but sometimes my teammates are actually dog water and literally play with their monitor turned off. Okay, believe me, alright, I know the feeling. However, this does not change the fact that in general, blaming your teammates is a bad mentality to take on. Yes, sometimes your teammates aren't exactly peaking, or they're having an off day, but so do you sometimes. Looking to find mistakes in your own gameplay rather than blaming your teammates for every loss allows you to improve much quicker and stop committing the same bad habits. In order to really improve in this game, you simply have to be willing to be self-reflective and find the areas where you can improve. Most likely, you're making the same exact mistakes that you easily notice and rage at when your teammates do it. Recognizing this is one of the greatest tools you can use to rank up and improve. Okay, I take it all back. How come my teammates are always so f***ing trash? Hey, if you enjoyed this video, smash that like and subscribe button to see more videos like this and to appease the algorithm gods. Thank you so much for watching. Love y'all.